Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is John. I'm Orphan Car Garage. We're located in Abington. That's in the state of Massachusetts. We're about 30 minutes or so south of Boston. Before I get into these two orphaned Fox bodies, I just want to thank everybody for 2024 as we almost enter 2025 here. And thank you for your support and my clients who have purchased vehicles from us. We had a banner year, again, breaking the records from 2023. A lot of it due to these videos. I know it's daunting purchasing a car sight unseen. 98% of my customers I never meet. Unfortunately, we talk through email and telephone calls, ship them the car. We do a lot of that. And I think these YouTube videos are an excellent tool for both me and the buyer to let you know exactly what you're getting. So there's no surprises when the car shows up at your front door. The last thing I want to do is disappoint anybody. I think I've done a pretty good job of that. I think our reviews show that. I think our continued support, repeat customers and so forth have proven that I'm on the right track. These two cars here in front of me may create another repeat buyer or two. They're going to be fairly unresistible to a lot of people. They're going to check a lot of boxes in different ways. Obviously, we're looking at a couple of Ford Mustangs. They're both from the year 1989 and they're both GT convertibles. What you'll notice right away is that these cars are unmodified, and to find Fox body Mustangs in conditions like this today is getting harder and harder and harder to do. The values of these cars are also slowly rising. I read an article over the summer that the Fox body GTs in particular have risen in value about 25% just in the past 5 to 10 years. And I too believe that because I've seen what these cars are now fetching, and it continues to rise. I think it's going to continue to rise as our collectors age out and a new generation of collectors enter the market. We buy cars that we remember. So if you were born in the late 1960s, 1970s, maybe the early 1980s, and you always loved these cars, you remember these cars when they were new, but you couldn't quite afford one then. Now maybe the kids are out of college, you're empty nesters, and you're buying what you always wanted. These are the cars people remember in that generation. These are the cars they're buying. Again, very, very difficult to find in an unmodified state. And both of these cars are unmodified. Very slight changes from the factory. Just a couple of things on both cars, and I'll go over those as we go around. I'm going to start here on this white car. This car has a very fun story, an interesting story, a great story. This car was sold new in Arizona. We have the clean Carfax to back that up. It's never been hit, never been in an accident, and it's a one-owner vehicle. Sold new, again, in Arizona, and then moved, I think in 2012? Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around that there to the state of California. And there's your California plate still in the back of the car. That's the tag that this car wore while it was in California with its original owner. It was just brought to Massachusetts within the last year. So this car has spent its entire life on the West Coast, and it shows. Bright white in color, all its original paint. And what you'll notice if you're keen on Mustangs is that there's no red stripe in that molding. Most of these white GTs with the red interior would have a red stripe in the cladding. I thought it was odd that this car didn't have it. Come to find out, it was an option to delete the stripe when ordering the car new. This car has the factory delete on the red stripe, which gives the car a very monotone appearance. Kind of cool, I kind of like it. Not that I don't like the red stripe, but I do like that this car is all white, makes it rather individual and probably a little bit more rare. This one I don't have the Mata report on. Unfortunately, I do have it on the red car, and we'll discuss that when I get there. But you probably already noticed this car checks one of the biggest boxes that's most important to people that look at these Fox bodies. This car is indeed a 5-speed manual transmission. Beautiful shifting car, beautiful running car. The mileage on this car is 83,000 miles, just 83,000 and change. Nice red interior, not faded. Look at the carpets down there. Usually what happens on these carpets is they turn orange in no time, especially being a car from California and Arizona. The windows are tinted on this car. There's a lot of pictures of this car with the top up, windows up, so forth on my website. I suggest you check that out. orphancargarage.com, and you'll see that the windows are tinted, which probably saved this carpet. Speaking of the carpet, I apologize for this. I've gotten in and out of this car 3 or 4 times today and tracked in some sand, so I'm a little embarrassed by that. 83,882 miles. The only upgrade on non-factory item in this car is the radio. It's got an aftermarket AM/FM stereo CD player. We do have the manual for that. Unfortunately, we do not have the original radio, but they are readily available online if you want to bring the car back to complete factory stock condition. That is the only modification on this car. It still even has its factory exhaust. Again, a one-owner car, almost unheard of. Beautiful red interior. We've got fabric over leather, and as opposed to leather, I apologize, fabric instead of leather. That car will have the leather interior. We'll get to that for you leather lovers out there. Hardly a flaw to mention, but there are a couple, most notably on the hood. The wheels are in great condition all the way around. The undercarriage of this car is just as clean as the upside of the car. Right here on the hood, there's some deep scratches, and you can put your fingernail falls right into those. This is a shame. This is the only real flaw on the car to speak of. If you're a real fuss budget, you might want to refinish the hood to take care of those. That's the only exterior flaw on this car, really, to speak of. Fantastic, fantastic condition. Everything in the car works. All the power features, the air conditioning, even these quarter windows, which are notorious not to work in these cars. Notorious problems, these quarter windows on all these Fox body convertibles. They work flawlessly in this car. There's all your power locks and windows. The air conditioning, like I said, blows cold. The convertible top is white. It's power operated, and it's in beautiful condition. Pictures of that, again, on my website, orphancargarage.com. I'll start it up for you. Sounds just like 1989. Open the hood, very clean engine bay. There we go. 5.0 liter engine, purring like a kitten. It's even got the original cover still here on the distributor. A lot of times that's missing. Very, very clean engine bay. Spotless shock towers, strut towers, as you'd expect for a car from the West Coast. Factory sounding exhaust. It's like looking at one 2 or 3 years old on the Ford used car lot. It really is. Just the preservation of this car is outstanding. Shut this off and we'll move over to the next one. Okay. Just a really, really nice car. I'll get to the pricing on both vehicles at the end of the video. Now, our next candidate, another 1989 Mustang GT convertible. This one is what they call the 25th anniversary car. How do we know that? There's not much to differentiate, but you will have an emblem there on the dashboard, which signifies this is a 25th anniversary edition. Now, why is this a 25th anniversary edition and not this one? Presumably, this is a later production, 1989. So if you remember Mustangs, if you know your Mustangs, you know that they came out mid-year 1964. So there was a 64 and a half Mustang. So in 1989 and a half, they started the 25th anniversary edition model. So basically any Mustang built after 1989 and a half is considered a 25th anniversary edition. This is one of those cars. Does it add a lot of value to the car? No, I don't think so, but it's just worth mentioning. The white car, apparently, I didn't check the production date on that, but obviously an earlier production car, which didn't quite cut the mustard to make it a anniversary edition. Beautiful scarlet red paint on this car. Production numbers on the red, fairly low, the scarlet red. I think about 2,100 cars. Now, this one I do have the Marty report on, and this trim and paint combination with the beautiful white leather seats, red dash, red carpet with the scarlet red paint. According to the Marty report, one of only 113 built in this trim and paint combination, which makes it rather interesting. It has the contrasting gray cladding. This car is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Now, what's so great about this car? The other one, 5-speed transmission, right? Everybody wants a 5-speed, but no, I take that back. Not everybody. If you don't want a 5-speed, you don't want to deal with clutches, you're sitting in a lot of traffic in the summer, maybe where you live is a heavily congested area, we've got for you an automatic transmission car, 4-speed automatic. The real coup de grace of this car, the mileage. 26,070. Just 26,000 miles on this 1989 GT convertible in red with white leather. Just 26,000 miles. We do have the Marty report for this one, as I mentioned, and I also have the Carfax to back up the mileage on this car. The factory floor mats are still in the trunk wrapped in plastic. There's some aftermarket Mustang floor mats in there now. The original AM/FM stereo is still in this car, and it's been converted to Bluetooth. So you can actually hook up your iPhone with Bluetooth to that factory radio. A previous owner sent that radio out to be converted to Bluetooth. Again, like the white one, beautiful wheels. This car was sold new in Virginia. Spent most of its life in Virginia, moved to Rhode Island, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Then it moved to my garage. So this car's had 4 owners, according to the Carfax report. I'm one of them. I purchased this car from a gentleman in Rhode Island, and I registered it and titled it in my name. So I'm actually one of the 4 owners mentioned on the Carfax. The idea in mind for this car, that I was going to mothball it and keep it as a future investment, because like I said earlier in the video, I truly believe these cars are going to continue to rise in value. So that was my original goal to this car. With this car, drove it very little to keep the mileage down, and after a while I just couldn't justify keeping it, because like I've said before, I wish I could keep everything, but I can't. So I sold it through the business here at Orphan Car Garage about a year or a year and a half ago to a local gentleman, and he drove it again sparingly, and just recently traded it back in with me on a 1979 Lincoln Mark V. Quite a departure from a Mustang GT, but he fell in love with the Mark V, and I was happy to take this car back in on trade. And here it is again, available for adoption. Just like the white car, fully loaded, power windows, working air conditioning, cruise control, a power top that's white. Full disclosure on the top on this car, it's not as in good condition as the top on that car, oddly enough. There's a couple of little cracks, and over here there's a small patch where there was apparently a puncture. Right in this area when the top is up. There are full pictures of that on my website. So full disclosure on that. The top is not perfect. It's probably what I would call a 7 out of 10. Would I replace it? No. Could you replace it if you were super fussy? Sure. But this is a top-down car as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful, beautiful condition. As far as flaws on the exterior of this car, we got a little issue at one of the back claddings, I believe. Right here. And I know exactly how that happened. The gentleman I purchased this car from a few years ago in Rhode Island told me that he backing out of his garage, he hit his gas grill propane tank. So the propane tank created that crack. He was sick to his stomach when it happened. It's literally the only flaw on the exterior of this car. And just like the white one, the undercarriage of this car is just as clean as the top surfaces. Beautiful original paint. Nothing's ever been painted on either one of these two cars. Neither one of them has ever been in an accident. Nice headlights. No chips on the front edge of that hood. Just outstanding. This is a real high quality Mustang. If you're looking for one of the best examples, this quite possibly could be it. Now, as far as mods go on this one, the only modification on the white one, again, was the radio. Not a big deal. This one's got an aftermarket catback exhaust, like a Magnaflow or one of those. It's not obscene. I'm going to start it for you so you can hear it. It doesn't sound bad at all, but it's not the original exhaust. Both cars still have their catalytic converters. I know I'm going to get that question. Start this one up for you, pop the hood, round up the video by telling you the pricing. We need to get some gas. That's the low gas light. I do need to get some gas. Air conditioning works. It's got this cool aftermarket cup holder, which is one thing these cars lacked when they were new. And that slips right into the original, what would have been the ashtray. I'd rather have a cup holder over an ashtray myself. Look under the hood of this one. Just as clean as the white one, as you'd expect. 26,000 miles. There you go. Beautifully presented engine bay. Super, super clean. Beautiful running 5.0 liter V8. Standard equipment on the GT that year. Recent battery. I think the oil change is about 800 miles old. Super, super clean. Very nice running car. We'll go to the back so you can hear the exhaust. As again, it is an aftermarket exhaust, but it's very tasteful. Not bad at all. Oh, I just want to show you the trunk on this one, because this one comes with some goodies. Two-handed job to take the key out of the ignition of these because it has the release knob under the steering column. So in the trunk, you've got on this one a car cover. I'd call it an indoor dust cover. It's a very thin car cover, but it is a custom Mustang Fox body cover. It's not generic, made for the Mustang Fox body. We've got some extra parts here. I think that the ashtray. This is the door for the sun visor mirror that's missing. Just some stupid little things. And then one other thing that's in there that I'm going to get to that I'm glad I just reminded myself on. Here's the factory floor mats, the original floor mats that would have been in the factory, the front of the car. And this is the boot storage bag, which you don't see very often. A lot of times this got tossed. Really, really clean. Trunk bay, and that's the original bag to house the boot for the convertible top, which, by the way, are a pain in the neck to put on. If you've ever put a boot on one of these cars, you'll know what I mean. I don't know why the Americans could never get that right. The Chrysler ones are a pain in the neck too. Putting the boots on, the plastic slides and the snaps, they look so good when they're on, but they're such a pain in the neck to put on. Well, anyway, one of the parts in that box is a replacement power window motor for this quarter window. It works, but it needs help. It binds about halfway down. You got to help it, and then it picks up again. The gentleman that purchased the car from me, that just traded it back in, bought a new motor for it, didn't install it. I'm not installing it either. It's really not a big deal. The motor, the window goes up, stops, binds, help it a little bit, it finishes. Same way going down. It goes down about a third of the way, it stops. You hear it binding, you give it a little yank, and it goes down the rest of the way. As I mentioned on the white car, it's notorious. It's a huge soft spot on these convertibles. The motors, plastic gears start to bind over time. That one's a little troublesome. On this car only, they work beautiful on the white one. I presume that one's had rebuilt motors put in it already. I'm just thinking so with the 80,000 miles that's on the car. One more quick walk around before we close out this video. Perfect Christmas gift idea, last minute stocking stuffer. Who doesn't love a Mustang convertible for Christmas? I know I would. They made about 6,000 of these in white, by the way. I don't know how many they made with the striped delete. I probably should order the Marty report on this one. But the red one's definitely more of a rare combination. 113 built in that trim, the white trim with the red combination and the gray cladding. Makes it kind of a cool thing. Again, does that add a ton of value? Not necessarily, but it definitely gives it some provenance and some bragging rights. So there you go, Orphan Car Garage. We've got two orphaned Mustang convertibles here from the year 1989. You're probably wondering what the pricing is. You're probably guessing yourself what the pricing is. The white car with 83,000 miles on it. 5-speed manual transmission. West Coast car its entire life. 18,900. The red car, 26,000 miles. One of 113 in this gorgeous scarlet red and white leather interior combination. Collector quality car for sure. 22,900. So 22,900 for the red, 18,900 for the white. You want them both? We'll talk. Check them both out on my website. There's plenty of pictures there. Follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to us here. And until the next one, we'll see you down the road. My website's orphancargarage.com, and my phone number is 508-954-8090. Thanks again for your support in 2024. I'm not sure I'll have another video up before the first of the year, but I'm going to try, weather permitting. We do have a couple of cool things still to show you as we wind out 2024. Mustang under the Christmas tree. I can just picture it now. Thanks again, and we'll see you down the road.